Good morning. I'm Louis Duffield. Welcome to Stoneybrook Farm. We're here today representing the Texas Agriforesters and Small Farmers, which I am a member. Today, we're going to talk about blueberries and how I plant blueberries in containers, which is a little different from normal, you might say. We started here about over 30 years ago. We started here with peaches, plums. We just started with just to plant a few trees just for the kids, and we got carried away. And over the years, we probably had over 7,000 trees here on this farm. Somewhere around 14 or 15, disease and insects caught up with us. And we transitioned over to blueberries and blackberries. I had a friend who moved up from the South, Houston, who was instrumental in the blueberry business getting formed down south in the Buna, Silsbee area. So over a period of time, we talked about blueberries and decided we want to try that. In fact, we made a trip out to Alma, Georgia, and bought back 5,000 blueberry plants over a decade ago. The sad news is he passed away about a year later, and I've been in the blueberry business ever since. We do propagate our own plants, and then we purchase plants for sale. We sell at the Nacogdoches Farmers Market and on the internet, Craigslist, Facebook, whatever. Today I'm going to demonstrate how I plant blueberries in containers. It's a little bit different, and hope you'll learn something from this presentation, and we're glad to have you at the farm today. Starting over here on the left of me is some of my cuttings. We take these cuttings all summer long, put them in germinated trays, and we have a special irrigation system that will put a fine mist out here. So many seconds, so many minutes. And that way we're trying to keep a humidified atmosphere on these plants to grow. Then once we get them in this 1 gallon container, we'll keep them in here for a few months. And then when the weather permitting, we'll move them outside for the summer growth. And then we'll start that process back over of sticking new plants. So this is what we got this year. Last year we had this whole row filled up. We did about 1,400 plants last year. So we had a productive year. And out of those 1,400s, we have sold most of those. So we're starting over again. Okay, proceeding on. This is my little veggie rack. I just do this for the family and fresh vegetables, salads. This is my, what I call my elevated raised bed system. Most people, they do raised beds outdoors. I do raised beds in here. By putting this pot up on top of this pot, I don't have to bend down. I can come right here, harvest my fruit, fertilize, my veggies rather, fertilize, pull out weeds, whatever I need to do. It's just right here. I don't have to, no bending over. Another thing I do, which you'll see later on in my blueberry presentation, is most of these pots are not filled all the way up. Most of the root systems on the veggies that we grow are no longer than 8 to 12 inches. So I don't need 24 inches of pot to grow what I need to grow. So I'm only using about half of this pot. The rest of this pot, I've got something down there. I got empty milk jugs, water jugs, anything plastic at this level here. And that does two things. It lets air come up through the bottom of this plant. It gets air, half the weight if I want to move it, and half the amount of soil. So you're doubling the amount of soil you use by using that system. As you can see there, we need to do a little spraying. We onions, tomatoes are coming along, getting some nice tomatoes. Some over there, some nice sized onions, they finally coming along. And we just put in some cantaloupes. The squash is coming along good. We've had ate one helping out of that this past week. Here we got some beans. Over there, collards we've had, that's where broccoli, all that stuff need to come out. I use that stuff to feed my worms. Mr. Mills was nice enough to give me a batch of worms, so we use that for worms in the vermicomposting, and we use that for a natural fertilizer. Over here on my right, I've got one of the, what you would call a mistake. I had a bunch of grapevines sitting here over the winter to move outside to plant. And when I got ready to move this particular vine, it wouldn't move. It had went through the bottom of the pot and into this greenhouse floor, which is clay, packed. Unbelievable that it went there, but it did. And as you can see, it's happy. The size of that stalk is unbelievable. And you can see some of the grapes, such as right there. This is called black Spanish grape. It is a seedless red grape, super sweet. When they're ripe, you just reach up and put them there and eat them right off the vine. Great little grape. Okay, let's go outside. We're gonna pick us a plant to come back in and demonstrate on. Here's some of the larger plants in the containers. And as you can see, the birds have already found the fruit. As you can see, the frost did some damage. We don't have near the amount of fruit that we should have this time of year because of the snowstorm. And anytime you don't have a full load of fruit, what fruit you do have tends to be larger. So that's why this fruit is so large, because you don't have that many on there. Same principle on peaches. You have too many peaches on the tree, they're all going to be small. But anyway, this is what we're looking at if we had a full load, full crop. Okay, let's go around. I like this one, so we'll pick this one to take inside to demonstrate our system. Now I'm gonna demonstrate how I plant my blueberries in the big 25-gallon. We call these lick tubs. We get these from the farmers. This particular tub was gave to by Mr. G.W. Neal, one of our members. Mr. Moore has given him some tubs also. This is a really neat little system. We're using a 2-gallon plant. We normally don't put them in this size pots until they are at least 2 years old. This particular plant is a southern highbush variety, and this particular variety is called Meadowlark. Early berry, large berries, and like I said, it's a southern highbush variety, which we don't plant these normally in the ground here in East Texas. We plant the rabbit eye varieties. But this particular bush, we're going to use these berries for our high tone production, which will, with the covering, will enable us to protect this dude from the early and the late frost in our tall house over here. So that's why we're going with this variety. In the pot, as you can see, we have different jugs. All of these are empties. And here's an example of what you can use to go in the bottom of your tub. In this tub, I've got 3 old pots. They are perfect for this. I've got a lot of these old pots like this. Okay, we're gonna fill this dude up, those corners there. And I saw on YouTube one of the vegetable farmers using the same system, and he was taking a piece of ground cough and putting on top there. I don't normally do that, but I just something extra that I saw on YouTube that you can do. And from there, I will begin to fill this dude up. And as you can see, Work it down good. Level it off. And now we'll add our 2-year-old plant. Now when we put this in there, there's a couple things we want to do. Number one, we're going to get some fertilization down to the bottom of this pot. So I'm going to add a little Osmo coat to this right now. Excuse me. This is Osmo Coat Plus 15912. It is the premier fertilizer for blueberries. Most of the commercial growers, they'll use a variation of this Osmo Coat. There's a 4 and 5 month, 8 and 9 month. There's also a 12-month blend. On the back of the package, it's going to give you some instructions on how much it is to put per pot, per liter, whatever. And I just am just generally liberal with it. The beauty of this stuff is it will not burn, so you don't have to worry about using too much. Take my root ball, and I want to break up where it has come out to the edge of the pot and started going around the pot. We want to break that up. And as you can see, he was using red bark for his plant. We recommend the black aged bark. The reason he's using the red bark and the big bark, not ground up like the 1/2 inch what we use, is because he is going through about 60,000 plants per year. So he does not have time for the bark to age. This bark is about 2 years old. So he goes with the red, and as you can see, normally there's quite a bit of fertilizer in these dudes. I don't see that much in this. It has broken down. Okay, so I'm gonna put this booger right up there on top after I have flushed it around to break up those ends so that new growth can take off real well. Okay, now I'm gonna add more bark. More fertilizer. More bark. And you want to pack this hard. Pack it hard. And you're going to get this on up there, pack it hard, and you're going to try to get 1 or 2 inches of this up on top of that root ball. This needs to be packed hard. And I would get that on up, nice, smooth, almost to the top, leaving an inch for your water to collect. The reason you want that hard is when you plant a plant in the ground compacts, and when the ground compacts, that makes the root system have to struggle to grow. In doing so, it keeps the proportion of the root system in proportion to the amount of plants you have up here on top. If this was real loose, you just get a whole lot of growth on your root system, no growth up here. So you want to pack this real hard in order for that root system to have to struggle, which makes this top part grows. Top dress it with a little more of that Osmo coat, and she is ready to go outside and hopefully next year produce you quite a few berries. This plant right now is ready to be topped. You take 4 or 5 inches off this plant right now, it wouldn't hurt it at all. And that'll help stimulate new growth. And next year you're looking at a nice healthy plant full of berries, hopefully. I'm gonna talk about some of the plants, some of the propagation I do. Not only the blueberries, we do quite a few blackberries. We mostly stay with the University of Arkansas varieties, such as Washita we have here, and also we have some Natchez with the red tags over here. Natchez is a climbing berry, whereas Washita is a semi-erect, does not need a trellis, but all of them can benefit with a trellis. We have some new ones over here out of the Prime Arc series. This is the everbearing berries, which under right conditions will bear fruit twice a year. That's a new innovation from the University of Arkansas. Here's one here of the Prime Arc series. Really huge berry, really early, really sweet. We're going to have a problem this year with the berries because of all the water. And generally this is indicative of any fruit. When you get this much water as we have, it tends to dilute the sugars and they won't be quite as sweet. Of course, it only takes a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks of just really hot sunshine, and that will improve as time comes by. Peach tree here. In the containers, I said I never would touch another peach tree after 26 years. But here we have an excellent specimen of a peach tree in a container. Very healthy, putting on lots of limbs. She'll be loaded up next year with peaches. Here is an excellent specimen of a rabbit-eye blueberry plant. I believe this is a Lapahal is the variety. A Lapahal comes from the University of Georgia. Been around for a dozen years or so. But this one is ready to be trimmed. It needs a good trimming like you do a hedge bush or something. Just a real heavy trimming, and they will. This bush will be loaded up next year. Have lots of berries on it. Let's go out front and look at some of these over here. These berries were hit hard by the snowstorm, and they have yet to fully recover. This particular variety is Vernon, and this is Premier. I hadn't cut these back yet, but that's the next order of business, is getting these cut back. Here I've got some plants that I grew, I propagated last year. That plant is about 15 months old. And 15 months old, that size, that's pretty good growth, pretty good specimen. Same plant over here, 15 months old, but these I've cut back severely, pretty well, cut them back really well. And you can see what happens when you cut them back. It tends to bring them back and produce more leaves, more fruit, more foliage. The more foliage you got, the more berries you'll get next year. But this is some of my propagation right here. Right now I'm going to take a look at the farm, talk about the farm, Stoneybrook Farm. I came up with that name when I stopped by this place with a for sale sign on it. And I walked back here, there's a little creek right here, and it goes all the way back there. And when it gets back here, there's some great big old iron ore boulders in that creek, and that's how I came up with that Stoneybrook farm name. This is the main farm right here. We're right here at the greenhouse. next door to Tone House. And by the way, this Tone House, we acquired that through the Natural Resource Conservation Service. Myself and Mr. Roy Mills, we acquired those homes at the same time, those tones at the same time. We were part of the Texas Strawberry project here for a couple of years. That was run by Dr. Russ Wallace out of Texas Tech in Lubbock. But anyway, that's how we came across the Tone House. This is the main farm area. I do not live on the farm, but my two of my sons are out here at the present time. This part of the farm, this 20 acres of the farm, this was the original farm, 25 acres. This 20 acres we purchased from our next door neighbor here, Mr. Earl Bates and his wife, Miss Margie Bates. Both are deceased now, but they were some great neighbors. This little area right here where we have the muscadines, a former extension agent who worked here by the name of John Miles, and I were out here putting these plants in, and she saw us out here. This was a hot July day, and she walked out. She was 90. She was in her 90s at this time, and we looked up out here, and she had walked out here with a glass of a pitcher of ice cold water for us, and she was in her 90s. I mean, that was such a great thing, I thought. But that's the kind of people of East Texas, and that's the kind of neighbors we have out here. Anyway, the rest of the farm, this area right here is 22 acres. We purchased in 2011 from a great neighbor here. And this is an undeveloped strip of 10 acres going all the way back to the highway. We purchased that in 2012, I believe, in hopes of putting a small blueberry farm in this area right here. The easiest way to get to Stoneybrook Farm, we're on 225 just west of Nacogdoches off of Loop 224. But the best way to find us if you get 225 is the old Sinclair gas station sign, the sign with the dinosaur. That's a unique feature of this property, but it's unique in the county. Nobody else in the county has that. So you can find us right here. We sell at the Nacogdoches Farmers Market every Saturday. That's weather permitting. We do have an internet site, StonybrookFarm.com. Our phone number is 936-569-4859. StonybrookFRM@sbcglobal.net is our email address, or lewisduffield2@gmail.com. Call us. We be glad to help you. Like I said, blueberries and blackberries. Come see us at the Blueberry Festival. We hope to do that this year. We thank you and we appreciate you.